little bit and started to fall apart. So has to just stay calm here. He's got the tools. He's definitely got the talent to give Joreuz a good series here in the lower bracket. It's all about confidence for him. It's all about consistency. Joreuz has got that potential to come back at any score line. Almost did so to Atto yesterday. Atto had to clutch it up in game 5 after Joreuz took 2 in a row. Should see a very mirrored match. What a save by Luis to deny Joreuz a 2-goal advantage. He's going to slot that counter-attack as well. And it's a good visualization of why it's risky to shoot far post against a goalkeeper who might land outside the net after making a save. Counter-attack is automatic. That was actually going to be Joreuz high in the game. Luis is up by 2 now. Yeah, I think in many ways we're going to see very similar styles between these two players. They're both pretty evenly matched, I think, when it comes to aerial prowess. Joreuz, I think, maybe a bit more creative, but Luis is just so consistent with his aerial plays. I think he's going to be a good match for Joreuz there. Ground game also very speedy, very efficient from both. I think, to me, the difference is that Joreuz has got phenomenal 50-50 game. Here's Luis with a double reset. Joreuz robs him of the ball. And he should be scoring pretty easily as well on the counter. Indeed he is. You give a quick type 2 in the chat if you are watching the squad stream, if you're watching both matches at the same time. Want to see how many people are tuning into Toxic versus Atto. That's going to be a banger of a matchup as well. Be sure to check it out afterwards if you can't watch it live at the same time as watching this, and I'm sure Fear will upload that on his YouTube channel. It's probably available in VOD as well. Not sure if he has his VODs available for plebs or just subs. Some great defense there by Luis. The defense for me is the thing that Luis has really improved at over the years. Always had a good aerial game and offense, but the defense initially was lacking. He was, I think, similar to how Zapatos plays the defense right now in NA. Joreuz from close range rockets a reset into the top shelf. Zapatos right now in NA plays defense very front facing, very early challenge oriented, and I think he needs to try and solidify by just being calm and surviving a bit every now and then. It's so important that you have to just survive on low boosts and make your opponent work for goals, because you never know when they're going to make a mistake, when they're going to make a loose touch, when they're going to miss a boost, or when they're going to allow you to get out of defense. You've just got to be patient at times, identify the fact that, okay, we're not going to be able to make a good 50-50 happen. Let's just sit in net, let's just be calm. Big part of all the best 1v1 defenders right now. How do you watch the squad stream? If you scroll down, there should be a squad stream button, I believe, underneath the stream. Jory is 4 goals in a row here. Luis looking to break that streak with a deceptive dribble, but the shot at the end of it all is extremely lackluster, giving Joreuz an easy open net at the other end of the field. Well, Luis a bit too direct on this one for my liking. Limited his options, and when perfection is required, you're just putting pressure on yourself unnecessarily. We're going to be completing the EU ProDrops tournament today. We're going to be going all the way through the single elimination bracket after this final round of the lower bracket in the stage 1 of the tournament is completed. We started off with 8 players, so we're starting today with 6. And after this match is over, we will have just 4, as Toxic versus Atto will complete at the same time. Both the losers eliminated. Winner of this will advance to play against Braziers in the next round. So it's going to be a very tough follow-up for these guys. Luis looking for a comeback, but again, not the best dribble as he hits the ball into a place that Joreuz can quite easily challenge. Last time he limited himself by not having enough of an angle on it. This time maybe a bit too much. Clutch save and good usage of Joreuz bump to get back to the boost quickly there. He's kind of invited Joreuz to stick around with a bit of a loose touch. Now Joreuz backs off. Luis looking for the air dribble bump, but Joreuz with a fantastic save. Flies over the top of him and does keep that one out. You thought Oski was playing instead of Braziers? No, Oski initially replaced Revsy in the lineup, but then Oski also had to pull out last minute, which was no problem. He told me as soon as he could, and Gom was happy to replace him, and Gom lost out of the tournament in round 1 of the lower bracket. So did Dead Monster. It's a stacked tournament though. If you look at this top 6, I mean, it's going to be tough for anyone in Europe to break into that. Extremely stacked lineup. Luis struggling at the moment with his ground game. Struggling to hit the ball into positions he can work with and Joreuz can't. I mean, there's been a few times that he's been able to work with his final touch before intended shots, but Joreuz is also able to get there. And then there's other times where, yeah, he's hit the ball away from Joreuz, but he's also hit it away from himself as well. It's all about finding that perfect spacing in one's offense, especially when it comes to the ground game. You've got to hit the ball into a spot that you can get back to and your opponent can't easily advance to challenge. Joreuz with a kickoff goal all but confirms the Game 1 win. Not an ideal start for Luis. Joreuz looking very comfortable. Plays for another half flip kickoff. So does Luis, and Joreuz the quicker of the two to get back to it. Loving how many double half flip kickoffs we're seeing from one's players. I'm wondering how long it'll be before we see a series of just all half flip kickoffs from two top tier players. Oh, hold on, Luis might still be pressing up for some more goals here. One reset off the ceiling, another on the ball, but defended immediately by Joreuz. As soon as that reset landed, Joreuz again going to stop the ball on the goal line here. Not interested in open nets. He wants Luis to come back and defend, just so he can embarrass him one more time and then score. It's the second time in this game that he's done this. Pretty comfortable scoreline, so nothing too crazy. Luis and Joreuz just going to wait for the timer to go down to 0 in Game 1. So pretty much all about ball control with his ground game for Luis. That's the one thing that needs improvement if he's going to really be more of a, well, all-rounded threat to Joreuz. Joreuz handled him pretty easily in this game. That's rare to see. Usually Luis makes life extremely difficult for all of his opponents. But look how many shots both players are able to put out in this game. Total of 32 shots between them. It's a very back and forth game, but the difference for me was that the quality of shots for Luis just weren't as high as Joreuz. Joreuz really forcing Luis into precarious positions multiple times. Luis unable to do the same thing back to him. Yeah, I'm trying to confirm a lineup for a MENA 1v1 tournament. MENA's of course extremely stacked right now, but the difficulty is that close to the major, the Falcons guys aren't sure if they want to play 1v1, which is totally fair, but I should have a confirmation soon whether or not they're playing, and if they're not, I'll have to just get replacement players, of course. But Rawas, Clears, Naupo, Dark, Fahad, Ams, all interested in playing. I know OSM is also pretty interested in playing against Middle East players, so maybe he'll hop in if the Falcons guys aren't there. Nice recovery there from Luis. Holding power slide and landing was key to comfortably getting back to the ball. Double reset, triple reset. Off target though, he was just moving slightly off target, or slightly more off target with every touch on that play. Joreuz, well, Joreuz doesn't actually get good ping to Middle East servers. It would be played on MENA servers unless I can get MENA players to agree that they would be happy to play against Joreuz on EU servers. It probably would, if that's something you guys would be interested in. I know Joreuz is from North Africa, so it would be fair enough. Yeah, I'll sort all that out in the coming days, hopefully. And I'll probably just be announcing that tournament a couple of days before it happens, as I did with the North American and the European one. I would have loved to give you guys more notice on these, but it's been a bit difficult confirming players early for these events, as scrim schedules are pretty tight in the run-up to Major, and there are, you know, some players taking short breaks after the final regional that they played this split. So yeah, just had to wait a bit longer before getting final confirmations than you usually would. So be sure to follow me on Twitter if you want to know when that Middle East tournament is going to happen. I'll be sure to announce it as soon as I know, which will probably be a couple days before it starts. Jory is again slow rolling an open net. It makes sense because he's leading. Luis is charging back, realizing, oh, he's actually just not going to score that, is he? He's just going to leave it on the goal line. It's a very smart thing to do. Some players not only refuse to retreat, but even if they do, they get tilted because you're forcing them to do your bidding. Joreuz might try to get this boost before he leaves. Luis couldn't even think about it before having to run back, and in fact Joreuz is threatening a long shot there. Was enough to force Luis into goal with low boost. And Joreuz steals the 100 away, but that shot didn't really do too much. Joreuz not hitting the target there, so Luis knew that he didn't need to go up for that unless Joreuz was as well. So that allowed him to get the 100 boost in the back corner. Joreuz would have much rather hit that on target, even if he knows it's getting saved, because that will set up a boost steal on the far side of the box. Where's Dead Monster? Dead Monster was eliminated yesterday. He had a very close set of games with Toxic in lower round 1, but he did end up being swept out of the tournament on Fear's channel. That's a brilliant read by Joreuz. It's almost as if that was communicated by Luis. That's a crazy pre-jump. He just knew from the way that Luis was setting up for that Luis would in fact be trying to go for an air dribble from the halfway line. It's kind of crazy to watch it though. Oh my goodness, what a save. Joreuz is on one today. Luis hasn't been putting in his absolute best offense in this series, but now that he's stepping it up a little bit, Joreuz is making it incredibly difficult for him, even with these quality shots, to get anything past him. Joreuz on the comeback trail. Lower bracket run today is where he starts, but should he make it through this game, it's single elimination for the top 4. All you need to do is get into the top 4. 2 players get in there through the upper bracket. It was Reziers and Moxie confirming their berth into the semi-finals yesterday through the upper bracket. But the 2 players who make it through right now will be straight into that semi-final against them. No lower bracket, no disadvantages. Once you're in the top 4, the odds are completely reset. Jory is still up by 2. Luis keeping it close, but really struggling to get into a good rhythm here. That's not the first touch that he wanted. It's going to completely concede possession. Jory is also not getting the first touch he wants, and that was a much easier one to set up. In fact, he's just going to bail on that offensive play entirely, head back to mid-boost. Takes his time as he realizes any high pop there would have been easily countered by Luis on the ceiling. Luis has managed to escape a couple of Joreuz air dribble setups there without having to defend a single shot. That's a good result for him. Partially due to Joreuz' first touch lacking, but partially due to Luis positioning brilliantly, and again able to defend nice and early before Joreuz gets anywhere close to the goal. But Joreuz ricochets a shot towards the net. He's keeping Luis honest, as he often does with his ones opponents these days, with the occasional shot from distance. Luis again trying to chain together resets, but yet to get any of these air dribbles to actually go towards the goal. Jory is feeling pretty safe against this. It's a beautiful recovery there by Luis, but Joreuz is taking his boost away. Time is favouring Joreuz massively. Hits the ball past Luis in reverse. Wanted a bit of a demo at the near post. Luis was aware of it. But can he get a good line of attack going? Reset off the ceiling. He's got a flip to play with here, and he uses it well, but it's off the bar and out. What a shame for Luis. That was so close, but so far. And Joreuz is going to score once again. And not for the first time today, trying to slow the ball down as it crosses the line. It's been his go-to today, as he tries to protect these leads by limiting the time Luis has remaining to chip away at them. Luis again using as much deception as he can in his approach, but Joreuz reads him. He's just had such a phenomenal read on all of Luis's approaches today, and he's going to win game 2 as well. This is just going from bad to worse for the Spaniard. Jory is keeping the pressure on and rewarded with triple match point. Did Joreuz do the half flip into his net again yet? No, he's not done that one yet. He's had a couple of half flip kickoffs. Luis has as well. But he's not half flipped into his net yet from the slight offset spawn, as he did yesterday. It's probably an okay strat to do. I mean, I want to see it. I want to see more of it. I think it's probably somewhat viable, but it's one of those that you most likely don't want to be doing more than once in a match at the moment, until it's been explored more. Bruno226, thanks for the 12-month tier 1. Welcome back to the channel. Luis trying to rocket a flick to the top corner with the boost seal as a follow-up. Very clean recovery as well as he nabs the mid boost. Jory is picking up small pads, and oh my goodness, he deflects it into the bar. Are you joking? It looked like Luis had got past him, but Jory has managed to deflect that into the crossbar with the slightest of touches, as he denies Luis once again. And one more time, Jory is hard reads Luis. He's out of boost, out of position, and out of options. The defense has been the difference in games 2 and 3. Unreal reads from Joreuz and what Luis is up to. Joreuz is going to half flip into the net on the diagonal spawn here. Luis playing over the top of him. Joreuz reads the bounce and collects the ball with a dribble. Luis thought that he was going to try and clear that. Joreuz controls it. Well, he's 1-0 for success with the half flip strat on the slight offset spawn. That's unbelievable. You know, I said it's one of those plays you only want to do once, but Luis actually tried to counter it there with a high shot. Joreuz just calmly collected the ball once it got back down to the ground. It looks like you might have a bit more practice with this one than we were thinking. He spots Luis trying the reverse challenge. He's up 3-0. Joreuz is on peak form right now. Luis, as soon as he was hiding behind the ball here, tried to reverse into position to challenge it, but Joreuz knew something was up. Flicked it over his head. Yeah, Joreuz is not going for many kickoffs today, but he's had such confidence in his goaltending that he's probably quite happy with these outcomes. Once again, able to slap away another Luis aerial play, and that was 100 boost to 30 in Luis' favour. Joreuz turns the possession over. That's a fantastic save from Luis. He's going to score here. Whoops, says Joreuz as he realises that's probably a little bit too aggressive playing for the far post top corner. He'll surely remember the time he did that in game 1 and he was punished in the exact same way. You know, Luis hasn't looked as comfortable as Joreuz with his goalkeeping today, so I think shooting at the near post top corner makes a bit more sense for Joreuz in these exchanges. Try and keep Luis in net for as long as possible. Anytime Luis advances into the midfield, Joreuz just slams a shot into the backboard or to the goal from distance. Luis loses control again. His ground game a bit lackluster today compared to what we're used to, and Joreuz sees that demo on the back wall coming a mile away. Luis with a huge pre-jump. Now, can he finish this one off? He's got a bit of time to work with here. Somewhat open net, but the bounce off the back wall takes it away from him. Double reset for Luis. Triple. And Joreuz has still saved it. You know, Luis managed to get that one on target. It's been a problem for him today with his double and triple reset attempts, is that he's usually ended up taking them wide of the target by the time he gets the shot off. That one was on, but there wasn't really much ball movement. The ball was kind of just sitting there with Luis bouncing on and off of it. So Joreuz just went straight for it. Came away with the play. That's much better, but Luis doesn't lead into the double tap. Well, he's tried just about everything here, and he's been so close, but just one small misread leads to another easy goal for Joreuz. I think this is pretty much just a result of Joreuz saving so many Luis aerial plays that Luis is forced to push the limit of what he's capable of. He's absolutely going for peak goals and nothing short of that when he's in the air. And I mean, that does run the risk of being counter-attacked after shots end up failing. Joreuz wins a kickoff after a brief Luis kickoff goal. Fake challenge there from Luis, not all that convincing. Joreuz with the mind game, and not a lot of power needed on that shot. Saw Luis jumping again. The convincing fake was sufficient. Joreuz, you know, somewhat pogoing into that one there, but unconventionally to hit the ball forwards with the roof of the car rather than upwards with the back end of the car. Joreuz going to need to use, Luis, sorry, going to need to use all of his efficiency on that play. Not able to get a threatening shot on target, not even able to get a shot on target at all. He's just going for full risk and hoping that he'll be rewarded in this last game. He's been thoroughly frustrated by Jory's defensive capabilities today. I think he just wants to see if he can get something to go past him and swing momentum in his favor. Time is running out with Jore's incredible rate of success with his defensive plays today. Luis is pretty much going to need to take every chance he gets, this one included. Tries to get a late flick onto the ball. Jory is there to stop him once again. 10 saves for Jory on 15 shots from Luis. That pretty much sums up how the second half of this series has gone. Started off with a slightly favoured Jory's game 1, where Luis' ground game looked to be lacking that first touch that he's usually got every time. But since then, Joreuz has just completely read every single move Luis has tried to make. He's trying to get one more goal to just completely put this game beyond all doubt. Sticking to his rule that he had earlier, no open nets. Joreuz with a ceiling reset. And A little bit of a pogo attempt here. Luis spotted that, lunged in. Jory has just played for the mid-air 50-50 instead. Luis has to score here to have any chance of coming back, and he's just not getting the desperately needed goal. Finally he will, but with only 32 seconds left, will Luis muster up the kickoff strats that he needs to get that comeback? Joreuz fakes the kickoff. He just wants to get this one into midfield play. So smart by Joreuz. He's been on the money today with his mechanics and intelligently pulls out a kickoff that is going to get you midfield play more often than a standard kickoff will, which is much needed in a end game scenario where you have a big lead like Joreuz does. That will be game. Joreuz secures it with a demo in the back corner. That was incredibly impressive. Luis certainly lacking his ground game that we usually see from him. I think the first touch was a bit off, his approach looked a bit awkward, but the defensive show that Joreuz just put on to deny pretty much every shot in Luis' aerial arsenal was certainly impressive. Joreuz advances into the top 4.